Hey, this is Andy Jenkins, and we have got a 5-week series here for you that is titled Advance. Now, for those of you who've been around Oily App World for any length of time at all, and those of you who've been around me, even kind of pre-Oily App, you know that the Advance is an event that I helped host, helped create it, was writing all the content for it since back in 2000. I think we began that in 2014, and it morphed over time, made some changes, made some turns, and all of that content that we really developed and refined over time, we've put that into a larger book. We've put that into a workbook where we show you how to really plan life and match up some of the essential oils that will really help you do that. Advance is all about moving forward from where you are to where you're designed to be in each area of life. I remember back when we did the live events, we would have men that came, because it was only a men's event. We would have men that came and they would walk away, most of them, even though we were doing this in a platform that had been set up and launched in conjunction with Young Living Essential Oils. Most of those men would leave and have no goal set about oils, and we absolutely loved it. They would leave with the goal of becoming a better husband, a better father, becoming healthy, and sometimes that might involve some of what they were doing with the oil. Surely some of them got involved with the family business, but the point is, life is so much bigger and broader than what you do for income. It's bigger certainly than what you do for a side hustle. It's bigger than just what you might do for a hobby or just one component of health. Now, certainly all those things are important, but life is so much grander than that. Your dreams are so much bigger than just one piece. And so we loved seeing guys come on board and literally just ignite on fire. Now, in Oily App Plus, there are, at this point, 3-4 courses related to that material. There is one course called The Ladder, if you're a member of Oily App Plus. There's another one actually entitled Advance. There is a book, there's an audio book, all available in Oily App Plus. We call Oily App Plus really the Netflix of essential oils, because you pay a low fee. You can pay by the year and it's cheaper, or you can pay month to month and you get access to 2 new courses a month. You have access to the entire vault of online resources that is growing and accumulating every single month. And you can opt in and you can drop out at any time you want. There's no contract, but I tell you this, it is some of the best, easiest to understand, but goodness, deep diving resources available, I think, and I'm kind of partial, anywhere. All right, so all of that intro said, I'll be back at the end with some information on some free resources we've got for all of you. Let me roll into this episode right here that Dr. Jim Bob and I actually recorded on video. Here's the audio from one of the episodes about Advance.
Andy, let's do this one. This was, I think, probably the biggest buzzword of the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Why?
It's kind of overused, I think. And here's the deal. It's like, because maybe the term, the why, it doesn't make sense by itself. Like, as you've seen, it
Right.
kind of fits in with the bigger picture. So let me kind of trace you through the ladder if you're logging on and watching this after the fact. Rung number 1 is the what. If you define the what, you're going to get higher than somebody that doesn't define any of it. Rung number 2 is the how. If you know how to prioritize the actions required to do your what, you're going to get higher than somebody that just defines the what, who again is going to get higher than somebody who is just kind of at the bottom on the floor still looking up. The why, like, it's actually third. I don't think you can actually get a why until you've got these other 2 that are in place. Now, they might kind of happen concurrently, but the reality is, you know, the buzzword a couple of years ago was a convention. It was actually the year that we wrote this stuff. It was in 2015. It was about the what's your why, and unless you know what you're doing, what the dream is, you can't articulate the why. And the reason for that is because the why may be specific for every single one of your dreams. In fact, I think it is. And it's a little bit tricky because the why actually changes over time. So let me maybe describe, and this may make sense with you guys too. I'd love to hear your input on this. So the why for us, for instance, doing Young Living Essential Oils when we first started doing that was in my household. We saw, hey, we could do this business and we could share these oils, and if we shared them enough and sold a couple kits a month, that would cover our cost to where we could get our oils for free. At the time in my house, we were living paycheck to paycheck and getting the oils for free because the products were going to cost us $100 to $200 a month. Getting them free was a huge why we were doing the business. Okay, well, as that grew, it shifted a little bit. We started making a little bit more money, and we kind of saw, so get that. Like kind of the dream happened first. We're making a little bit more money, and we saw, hey, another good reason to pursue this, another why would be because we could pay for things that otherwise we're going to struggle to pay for. So 2 teenage daughters needed braces in back-to-back months. With the Young Living paycheck, we were able to handle that. That became another why. Handle things that financially otherwise we wouldn't be able to handle. Yeah. In time, as that grew, it kind of like the next why became, hey, wait, we actually might be able to work from home and escape the 9-to-5, live the life of our dreams, live and work from anywhere, do more good, bring along family members with us on that journey. So the why with that entire thing shifted. So hear what we just said. You may have a why that's different for every single dream. Your reason for pursuing a business may be different than your reason for pursuing fitness. That may be different than your reason for pursuing financial health. That may be different than your reason for pursuing faith. That may be different than your reason for dating your spouse. That may be different from your reason for fill in the blank. And that why, as seasons shift, the why is probably going to change too.
Yeah, and don't feel lost by that. I mean,
no.
I think, again, it's just being adaptive and going, hey, I'm in a new season of my life. And the old why that really drove me, it needs to change with me a little bit and needs to grow with me and grow with my family or grow with my business or anything else. But I think that people get frustrated, especially, again, using the network marketing and Young Living business as just kind of a vehicle and a model for it. They get to, at the very beginning, like you said, Andy, they've got this why of like, I just want to get enough to pay my cable bill and bless a few members of my family. Well, all of a sudden they realize like they get to executive and silver or gold, and the why has to change because their, team has gotten bigger, but they are frustrated because they're stuck over here. Let's say, well, I just wanted to do this. And they don't want to have to build a new why every time. And That's not to say that, like you can have a why that is pretty much overarching. Like one of our mission statements for ours is, to provide freedom of choice for every family that we meet. And that overarching mission or why, kind of goes with everything, but like it's different for every member of our team and it's different in each season, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Pull up the graphic. I've got one that you have that has that talks about the why. It's got a heart, hands, and head. And here's kind of the way to understand these three and why they're all together. Okay, so the what you're doing, the dream, is really kind of an idea that's in your head. And so it's important to kind of know that. The how you do it affects, it's not just an idea, it's an implementation of an idea, and it affects your hands. So just kind of thinking implementation. The why is the heart. That's the inspiration. And what's great about this is you see a lot of businesses lately starting to move to this. So Disney now has a value statement, not a mission statement. A mission is kind of what we do.
Right.
A vision statement is kind of how we do that. So churches are notorious for this, like in a good way. So you'll see all churches basically have the same mission statement. They say, talking about like,
God love people. Yeah.
We exist to lead people into relationship with Jesus. That's their mission. How they do that's going to be very different. So some churches do that with like drums and a band and trendy hipster preachers. Some churches do that with chiming the hour. Everybody wears a choir robe and they sing very formal hymns. They're doing the same what. How they implement with their hands is very different. The why, the inspiration may be even different than that. Does that make sense? So like Chick-fil-A, they have a value statement. Okay, they exist to serve chicken and glorify God is what they say. That's their why. And so every decision that they make is guarded and governed around that why. Love Chick-fil-A or hate Chick-fil-A, they're consistent with why they make all the decisions they make, whether it's closing on Sunday or whether it's giving away a lot of free stuff or having free chicken day or whatever it is. Like that why, that drive, it's something that like is just this internal space. I would liken it to this. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. They cast off restraint. They wilt, faint, die. Now, a lot of times you'll hear people say that verse and they'll say where there's no vision, where there's no big idea. Pastors will say this and go, oh, we serve a big God and these big dreams. That's not what that verse is talking about at all. That verse where there's no vision, that word kabod in the Hebrew language is the word for prophecy, revelation, this internal voice that's not logical. It's not anti-logical. It's more than logic. It's like it's in the heart. It is this inner space, this drive that has got to come out of you.
Yeah.
And you got that for every single dream. What do you got to say about that?
The thing I want to point out to everybody on this, and the thing that I think that people need to spend time on this slide, like really looking at it, is, the what is super important to get started. We talked about that, like in each category. But if you don't have a how to it, the how will take you further because now you have a system, you have something even robotic to do even before you know why you're doing it. Like, hey, we're going to do this. I'm handing them this oil kit. I'm talking to them. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. And even if you just do that and have no idea why you're doing it, you'll move ahead. Like you'll make progress and you may grow your team. Your marriage may get better. I'm doing date night. I don't know why, but I'm taking her out on dates, because you're going to move forward. But if you don't get to the why, you will get bored and you'll get burnout and you won't keep going as long because the why keeps you in it when things are tough. The why is that part of it. The reason I love that it's the heart is it's the part of it that when, people stop coming to classes or they, you don't have a sign up for months on end or, you haven't grown in 2 years. Like we got stuck at platinum. Which is not a bad place to be. But I mean, we got stuck at a platinum rank for over 2.5 years. Well, at that point, like if you don't have a really solid why of why you do this for yourself and for the people around you, it's real easy to go, forget it. This isn't the thing for me. I'm going to go do something else and pick a new what, and then have to start all over. And I think that happens a lot. People give up because they're like, oh, well, if this is where I need to be, it would be easier. No, that's not true. You just don't have a why big enough to keep you in there when the waves get heavy and when things get really hard.
Well, that's what Maxwell said. Okay, remember, dreams are mostly uphill. All the valuable stuff's uphill, downhill habits, back to the house, swimming underwater. What's going to sustain you in that? It's going to be the why. And you can pretty much guarantee when somebody gets stuck in a rut, they've given up their why and they've reverted to a how. And now it's just a grind.
Well, and that's another thing that I love about clarifying this why for people is like you'll say, we'll ask team members of ours all the time, why do you want to do this business? Well, we want to do this business to be able to send our kids to college. No, that's not why you want to do it. Like that is one of the bolts. That's one of the
result
ladder. Yeah. It's one of the benefits of what you're doing. That's even more of a how. That's not the why, though. Well, I'm doing date night. Why are you doing it? Well, because I want my wife to be happier. No. Like it's something way deeper. Of hey, you're doing the business because you want freedom, or you want connection, or you want whatever it is. There's something bigger that is actually a smaller reason. Normally, the people that I know that really know their why can tell me in 2 to 3 words instead of, well, because of this and that. And if they go to this school, it's this. And if I can get them to do that thing, well, that's not your why. Like if it takes you that long to describe it, then it's normally more of a how in that bridge of reverse engineering.
Well, we tell people a lot of times, there's a graphic on this that's got the why, 7 levels deep is what do you think the why is for this dream? Okay, now discuss what's the why for that why.
Yeah, keep going.
For that one, just keep drilling deep. I'm not going to give you an example of it, but there's examples in the Big Advanced book. We'll put a link up to that. This one just came off the press. I got this in the mail today, actually, but it describes like kind of how that works. Here's the oil for this one. This one is energy. And while you're getting queued up to talk about that one, I'll tell you the winner for energy. She came in on the Guy's Guide to Oil's page. is Rhonda Neely. So Rhonda, congrats. PM us, DM us. We'll send that thing to you in the mail. Energy. Tell us why energy is good, Jimbo.
Well, the organ system that energy supports is the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands, I think it ties into the why so well, because the adrenal glands are the glands that actually help to release hormones in stress and during times that are hard, to give you that boost you need to really get you over the top of that hump and to get you over that mountain and to really see you through that stage and to give you what you need to either fight for what you need to claim as yours, or run away from something that you don't need to be with, right? And so, the adrenal glands are a real big why system. Like, we think it's all a part of the brain, but I love that you use the heart. It's at the heart of the matter, but it's also, the adrenal glands are like, hey, when that whole, when the going gets tough, the tough get going analogy, that's where the adrenal glands come in. And that's where the why is. It's like Rocky Balboa, he's on, talking about Netflix. It's like Rocky's everywhere. That's his thing. He had this why, he just wanted to be number one. He wanted to prove that he could do it. And it just always coming through. And energy supports that system so that you can keep going when you don't feel like going.
Well, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's why we even call these dreams and goals, because they require something. All right.
And I think to end this off, don't be, people ask, how do you use it? I've got videos and stuff that'll be on Oily App, and we got some other stuff for you to look at, but don't be frustrated or don't beat yourself up if you don't have this illustrious giant why. If it's something really simple, but it's at the core, I think that it gets glorified when someone has this giant Mother Teresa why. I'm doing oils because I'm saving all the kids in the world of loneliness. Okay, well, that's fine. And that's great. But everybody has their own why of what the Lord has put in you. And you have a different why for your family, for your marriage, for yourself, for your business, for everything. He's put in you because you have your own unique identity. And I think it's just owning that, being confident in that, and moving ahead and not second guessing it all the time. And you'll get closer to your goals.
Yep.
All right, I hope you got something out of that. And as always, I would encourage you to just get a pen and paper and make sure that you grab the entire series. So often on these podcasts, we tend to release them in series, not just one-offs. Occasionally we do that, but I would encourage you to go get the entire series. One thing that you might be interested in listening to that was a one-off related to this, I'll put the link in the show notes. It was my reflections on Forward, which was our New Year's event where we taught a lot of this information. And so that was kind of a standalone episode that I recorded before we launched into all these new 2021 series. Again, the link is in the show notes. Listen to the lessons I learned from Forward, because it's really kind of this meta of putting an event on about all of this advanced material and how you adapt and change and then just move forward. All right, here's the promised freebie. If you go into the show notes as well, there is a link to the free advance planner. Several years into the advance, as we were teaching some of the concepts that you've now listened to, one of the guys, I was interacting with him, one of the guys is now on the Oily App team, and he said, I really think it would be great to have a tool where we could schedule and actually integrate what we're learning into all of life. And again, as I told you, men were leaving the event and setting goals about becoming better husbands and better fathers. And the trick is, how do you schedule that? How do you create a resource that empowers you? In your case, might becoming a stronger wife, a more connected spouse, a more engaged friend, someone with a dynamic faith life. I mean, it works in any area of life, weight loss or just getting stronger or running a marathon, or it works building a business. It works anywhere. And the result was a planner built around the concepts that we were actually developing. And so we've made that available for you absolutely free. You can download it, you can print it, reprint it as many times as you want. We do have a hardback version for sale. That information's on the same webpage where you download one absolutely free. Go to the show notes, oilyapp.com/free planner PDF. That information is there for you. I'm Andy Jenkins. I'll be back next week with another incredible lesson. Thanks so much for joining me.